Hello everyone, in this video I'm gonna make the Nikka pants. So these are inspired by Japanese to-be workers, construction workers known for their roomy balloon-legged pants. My Nikka pants echo that silhouette with a personal twist. Balloon legs, elasticated waist, front pleats, side and back pockets, and lined ankle cuffs that add a crisp finish. I designed these pants for women, but I think they'll fit men too. Just make sure to lengthen the legs appropriately. These pens are part of Lino y Barro, which is my Spring-Summer 2025 capsule collection of patterns. It's inspired by and was created in collaboration with ceramicist roquet. She lives in Spain and shares her journey with ceramics on her YouTube channel. So I'm going to link to her channel in the description. This pattern is perfect for advanced beginners. There are no technical difficulties, but maybe give some extra thought in picking the right size. These pens are very oversized, and if you're not used to it, like I wasn't, it can be surprising and maybe a bit much even. So instead of picking the size corresponding to your measurements in the size chart, you can instead have a look at the garment measurements, more precisely the waist row, and pick the size that has the waist measurements closest to your hip measurements. Yes, to your hip measurements, because as long as you can pull the pants up past your hips, then you're gonna be fine. Now, the second thing I want to address is that the pattern is drafted for a height of 168 centimeters, 5.5, and because the ankle cuffs are lined and don't include a hem allowance, the pants can be shortened, but they cannot be lengthened. So if you're taller, you might want to lengthen the leg pieces before cutting your fabric, or sew the pants first, and then at the end, decide how long you'd like the cuffs to be, adjust their length, and then sew them. Those pants are going to work best with a somewhat structured fabric. So linen, particularly stone-washed linen, which is the fabric that I used, is going to be fantastic. Lightweight denim, gabardine, and some crisp taffeta can be also a good option. I have to test the taffeta one, and if I do, I'll link to the results in the description. I also made them in a lightweight linen viscose blend. The result is fairly flowy. It's great for the warmer months and we can still see the balloon shape. And for the lining, you want to use lightweight cotton. If this is your first time working with PDF sewing patterns, please check out this video that I made. It walks you through how to download, print, cut, stick the pattern together, how to choose your size, and it answers basically the most common beginner questions that I get asked in customer service. All right, let's get started. Let me show you the pieces of the pattern. I decided to film using a miniature version of the pattern because sometimes when there is too much fabric on the screen, I think we get a bit lost. We don't know where it begins, where it ends, where the top is, where the bottom is. Anyways, here we have the back leg parts. Every time you'll see these little signs here, these two lines, they indicate that we're seeing the wrong side of the fabric. Underneath, we have the bottom parts of the back legs. I have written on them whether they're the back or the front. Here we have the front leg parts. Here the back pockets, the side pockets, and finally the waistband. And the reason why I have traced lines on certain parts, I'm going to explain in a bit. These are pleated trousers. The first thing we'll do is actually sew the pleats. We're going to fold both pleats towards the center front. Sew these pleats in place in the seam allowance and do the same with the other leg. Let's move on to the side pockets. Just a note on the pocket facings, they have to be in the same fabric as the main fabric that you're using for the rest of the pants. But of course, if you cut the pockets in the main fabric, I mean the pocket bags in the main fabric, then you don't need facing at all. For the front pockets, you want to finish this edge of the facing. And for the back parts, you want to finish this edge. I turn the pocket parts so that the right side of the fabric is visible. And I'm placing the facings like this on top of the pocket bags. As you can see, the wrong sides of the facing go against the right sides of the pockets. Now I sew the 2 layers close to the finished edges. I will grab my front legs and I lay the front pockets on top of the legs, right side stitching. I sew respecting 1 centimeter of seam allowance. I'm actually going to trace the line with my Japanese ruler. It's just going to help me personally a little bit. Let's understitch now. Fold back. Take the back pocket bags and place them on top of the front pocket bags, right side stitching. Pin and sew the 2 layers in place all along this edge. Finally, I'm going to sew the pockets up here to the leg in the seam allowance. And this is the result. Let's move on to the back pockets. As you can see on the wrong side of the fabric, I have traced some lines 2 centimeters from the edges. You want to fold the edges against the line once and then a second time, and that way you're going to have really clean finishes inside the pockets. I just want to invite you to first make the lower hem, second make the side hems, and then finish with the upper hem. That way you're going to have a cleaner upper edge, which is the edge that will be the pocket opening. It's going to look like this after you press down. For the upper hem, also let's say 7 millimeters from the edge, and then same for the other hems, also all around. I'm going to take my paper pattern of the back leg to transfer the pocket placement. I'm using a vanishing ink pen here. Basically identifying the center of the pocket placement and the center of my pockets in order to place the pockets correctly. I pin and I'm going to sew along the 3 edges of the pocket that are not the opening, and this time I'm going to top stitch close to the edges. I lay my front and back legs right side stitching, and and I sew along these two edges. Now time to add the ankle cuffs. First, I lay the back parts right side visible on the table, and then I place on top the front cuffs. I sew the two parts together on the sides. Press the seam allowance open. I take a first leg. I insert my cuff at the end of my leg, right side stitching. I'm going to pin and sew together, respecting 1 centimeter of seam allowance. You do this for both legs. Now let's take the lining parts. I'm going to do exactly the same. I lay my back and my front parts right side stitching. Also, before sewing, I want you to notice these lines that I traced on the upper edge of the cuffs, 2 centimeters from the edges. It's going to help for later. I sew on the sides. Press the seam allowance open and then fold the upper edge against the line and press down. Insert the leg inside the lining, right side stitching, and sew the ends together. This is what I get. Let me turn the leg inside out so the wrong side of the facing is visible. I'll cover the seam allowance of the cuffs that are in the toile fabric with my lining, and I will hand stitch the lining. To combine the two legs together, insert one leg in the other right side stitching. Then sew along this edge here and finish the edges. Let's move on to the waistband. So as you can see, I have drawn a line 2 centimeters from one edge. You want to fold your waistband into, not paying attention to the line yet, and press down. Now sew the ends together, right sides touching. Press the seam allowance open. Press down the edge against the line that you drew. Take the pants. The edge that's not folded will be pinned against the waist opening of the pants. Sew the layers in place all around. Once it's done, you want to fold the waistband so that the folded edge covers the seam allowance of the waistband. Before hand stitching the waistband, I'm making some markings on the fabric to remember to leave an opening through which we will later insert our elastic tape for the waist. So I get here some elastic. Obviously this is not the right width because this is miniature, and as you can see it's not even the right width for the miniature because we want the width of the elastic to be like as wide as possible. Otherwise the elastic might be moving inside, turning, and it's going to be uncomfortable. All right, take your elastic tape. You want to measure your waist measurement and remove 3 centimeters from that measurement, and then add your seam allowance and don't cut yet. You want to insert the elastic tape through the waistband opening. Once it went all around, pin the tape and try the pants on to see if the elastic length suits you. If it's the case, you can go ahead and cut the tape, sew it, and then close the waistband opening by hand stitching. I'm going to pretend here that I'm making these steps, but since it's just a miniature, I want to reuse that tape, so I'm not cutting it. And that's it, you have made the Nikka pins. I really hope you liked it. If you make it and share it on social, use this hashtag. See you soon for another tutorial. Until then, take care and see you soon for a new tutorial. Kiss!